watching KWQC TV, the news leader, making a difference in the Quad Cities. Live from the KWQC Broadcast Center in downtown Davenport with Morgan Otier and Kyle Keel. This is Quad Cities Live.
Today on QCL, continuing our home improvement series, we are sitting down with an interior designer from Within by CDI to explore how custom window treatments are transforming everyday spaces. Plus, the convenience of smart home technology doesn't come without risks. Rouse Consulting Group will show us simple steps to protect our data and our peace of mind. And if you're tired of digging through cluttered cabinets, help is on the way. Learn more about Shelf Genie, a smart storage solution that's transforming homes of all ages. And that's where we begin today on Quad Cities Live. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Morgan Otier, and today we are diving into the world of custom storage with a company that is transforming the way homeowners organize their spaces. We're talking about Shelf Genie, helping you make the most of your drawers, your cabinets, and your closets. Alan Johnson is the local expert behind Shelf Genie right here in our region. Alan, thanks for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. I'm so excited to talk with you, and I'm excited to learn about your products. They already look amazing. We say, you know, the local expert, but you guys are really, you're all over. You were just telling me about that. I mean, you travel pretty far.
We cover the Quad Cities area, but we also cover Iowa City, Cedar Rapids, Dubuque, and down to Peoria.
Wow.
And pretty much anything within 90 to 100 miles of here.
Amazing, amazing. Well, good to know, and a great way to start the segment here today. We want to know a little bit more about what Shelf Genie is and how you got started in it.
So we are a shelving system company. We go into existing kitchen cabinets and do the measurements, do a presentation for the customer, and then install the into existing cabinets. So this is a good example of the types of things that we do. This is obviously a demo size.
Yeah.
But this is standard glide out.
Oh yeah.
This is one on top with a side-mounted rails. The rails are good to hold 100 pounds.
Oh my gosh.
For each one.
Wow.
But if that's not enough, I can upgrade you to a 200-pound rail.
What would you even need to, okay.
I've sold 2 sets of 200-pound rails, both to older gentlemen.
What were they storing in there?
Liquor.
Liquor.
Yes,
That's
they
what it
had
is.
liquor bottles, so yeah.
Right, that's hilarious. That's great. That's a good story.
So,
okay, so yes, so roughly how many installations have you completed?
We've done between 160 and 170.
Wow.
We started a couple of years ago.
Oh, good for you.
So it's been pretty steady business.
No
we
kidding.
grew about 35 to 40% between the first year and last year, and we're up again this year. So.
Wow, congratulations. That is so wonderful to hear. We're looking at some really great photos that you've taken of different installations and whatnot.
Yep.
Okay, so talk about why somebody would want this. I mean, who is Shelf Genie for? I know personally why I would want this, but yeah, talk a little bit about what this can help solve for homeowners.
There are people that want it, and then there are people that need it.
Sure.
So, especially older folks, when you get older, you just can't reach underneath your cabinets.
Right.
Or worse yet, you've got a half shelf under your cabinet and you can't store anything on it because you can't get to it.
Right.
So if we come in and do a presentation to you, we can show you how you can put both a full glide out on bottom and a full glide out in the middle instead of the half shelf. And many times we actually put 3 glide outs in instead of just 2.
Yeah.
Because that gives you an ideal place to store lids or to store small stuff.
I'm just thinking of the Tupperware that I have and how that is not possible to organize ever, but I think that this would actually do the trick.
Yeah, and we can help you with that. This shows an example. We can put dividers in.
Oh, yes. Okay.
And we can actually divide it either side to side or front to back.
So you can really help people organize beyond just the glide outs themselves. Wow.
Yep.
Okay. So I feel like these look very new construction, but that is not necessarily where you are installing these. I mean, you can go anywhere.
We actually don't do any new construction.
Okay.
We always come in after the homeowner's taken possession of the home.
Okay.
The oldest house I've done was the kitchen was added in 1898.
Oh my gosh.
And it was still part of the original cabinets in that house.
I love hearing that.
And then the newest house I've done, The cabinets were installed on Wednesday, and I was there on Friday to do the measurements.
Okay, that's wonderful. Yeah, and they just like really brighten up the space, I would imagine as well. And just that look of organization is huge. And I would imagine too, like you said, with new construction, you know, people have to know what type of storage they need before you can really get there and help them.
You know, a standard cabinet maker will give you shelves. You know, if you've got a pantry, they'll give you 3 shelves.
Sure.
That's
just the standard.
That's what they do.
Yeah.
They'll give you 4 or 5, but you have to tell them where you want it.
Yeah.
And they'll put it in.
And while we're talking about that, though, really tell us about the different uses. We're talking a lot about cabinets, and I feel like our mind oftentimes really does go to the kitchen, but there are tons of uses for these.
Right. We've done mostly kitchens.
Yeah.
But also pantries. We've done a lot of bathrooms.
Oh, and that's kind of what we're seeing, yeah.
One of our favorite installs was a lady who has she has a glide out on the bottom under her bathroom sink, and we had to cut out to go around the pipes.
Oh, okay. So
but then she also has a middle one that she keeps all of her makeup on.
I love to
So
hear
when she gets when she gets dressed in the morning, she actually opens the cabinet door, pulls the drawer out, and works straight from the drawer.
Oh, I love that. That would be me.
She can pick it up and put it back.
You just described me. Okay, that's perfect.
We've done a lot of bathroom pantries. We've done mud rooms. We've done even some living room installations, which those kind of freaked me out because it was a case where somebody just opened a door and said, what can you do with this?
Help me. Yeah, okay, I love that. Some folks already have some pull-out shelving, so but that can be reimagined with your products.
Right, yeah.
Okay.
Typically, if you buy a house that already has shelving, it's going to have one on bottom and one right in the middle.
Yeah.
So what we do is we come in and look at the space available, and typically we can lower that middle one an inch, inch and a half, and put a 3rd shelf above it.
That's awesome.
Or if you've got a pantry, they've got maybe a bottom glide out and then 3 glide outs already in it.
Yeah.
And we lower those 3 glide outs, the first one by 2 inches, the second one by 4 inches, the third one by 6 or 8 inches.
I love the customization that you're able to do.
And then we can actually put 2 more glide outs in that pantry.
That's awesome.
So we can increase the storage in a pantry by 40 to 50% typically.
Okay, all right. So I have to ask, how much does this cost to install? I mean, does it vary depending on the type of project?
It's a really broad window.
Okay.
Typical customer spends about $4,000 to $5,000 with us. We've had some jobs where it's $2,000 or less.
Okay.
We've had a couple of jobs that were more than $15,000 or right at $15,000.
Wow, okay.
Nationwide, Shelf Genie has done houses where they've up to $50,000. Now, I don't expect to find that in the Midwest, but
you're on QCL.
Both coasts, yeah, they're trying to live up to things. So.
Yeah, no, I love that. That's wonderful. And I'm sure response from clients over these past couple of years has just been amazing.
Yes, it's been really good. We've gotten about, we send a survey. It's just a 1-question survey. You know,
do you like it?
Yeah, and it's basically that's what it is.
Yeah.
More importantly, it's would you recommend it to somebody else?
Yeah.
And on a scale of 1 to 10, we've gotten mostly 10s. We've gotten a few 9s. We've gotten a couple of 8s.
Those are all good numbers. Those are all good numbers. Well, that's wonderful. If you're watching, you want to learn a little bit more about solutions for your kitchen, your bathroom, even your closets. Visit shelfgenie.com. You can also book a free consultation online, see if it's the right fit for you. Alan, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, we appreciate it. And still ahead, your windows, they could be the most overlooked design opportunity in your home. Within by CDI is here with custom window treatment solutions for any space.
You're watching Quad Cities Live.
Interior design, it can transform any space, making it feel brand new. But getting started can feel overwhelming. The good news is there's a local company that can help you with over a decade of experience and a design studio that covers everything within your 4 walls. Joining us today is Ashley Watkins, a residential designer from Within by CDI, which is located in the heart of downtown Bettendorf. Ashley, thanks for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
I am so excited to talk with you. I've already been kind of picking your brain a little bit about my own house, so we won't bear with us. We won't talk about my house here today, but we will talk about within. So describe a little bit about what design services you guys offer.
Yeah, so we are a full-service interior design studio, so we could take you from inspiration until installation and beyond. You kind of mentioned anything within your four walls.
Okay.
We'll do small projects, we'll do large projects, but we're kind of a luxury service, and yeah, floor to ceiling, everything in between.
Okay, so yeah, describe for us a little bit about what a a typical project would look like for you. I can only imagine people are moving into new homes, and they have big ideas and a lot of rooms for you to decorate. But when you talk about maybe smaller spaces, that is something that's available to customers as well?
Yeah, definitely. So most projects, I mean, we'll start with project discovery. A designer will come out to your house for a free consultation, and then we'll put together a design scope or a proposal based on your goals and your priorities. And then some projects, they'll start with inspiration, where we kind of get your roadmap together, and then it'll go to the plans, where we do like demo plans, your existing plan, remodel plan, and then the final phase is like when we're doing actual products and actual furniture recommendations and things like that.
That's awesome, and we've got some photos on the screen right now. Your team, one of the things you guys talk about is you help clients avoid common design mistakes or future disappointments. I just love how you put that, because it's such a big deal to really everybody when they start decorating or designing a space in their home. It's something that they want to feel like they can live with for a very long time. They're spending their money on it. So talk about the ways in which your team really does work with clients to kind of help them see the bigger picture sometimes.
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, decision fatigue is real. So
Yes.
people get burned out, they get overwhelmed. The flooring people can help you pick out flooring, the cabinet people can help you pick out cabinetry, but we're the ones who will make sure that everything in your home flows together and has a nice cohesive vibe through room to room.
That's wonderful. And you already described really all the steps from when somebody first comes over and just helps you with a consultation till the moment that it's installed. It's like you're still part of every step, but somebody's just kind of guiding you, which can feel like such a relief, I'm sure. You brought some items with you here today, and I want to start over here because you guys are full service. We do want to get into window treatments here in just a minute, but you brought some beautiful items with you. Is this stuff that's available for people to look at all the time?
Yeah, so in our showroom downtown Bettendorf, we try to trade our showroom out twice a year. These are some items, some artwork, some pillows, some books, bookends, our candles, faux plants.
These are really beautiful. Okay, so, and this right here, I mean, I need this for my house immediately. It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you also work with real estate companies? Do you guys do staging and things like that for companies?
Yeah, so we are kind of partnered with Diamond Builders, and so what we will do is we'll work on the window treatments while the house is still in construction, so that way the first night in your new house you're not hiding from the windows, and you've got privacy and sun control.
That is awesome. Okay, so we want to get into window treatments here today because we did promise our viewers that we would talk a little bit about that.
Sure.
So talk about the options for people when they come to you asking for help.
Yeah, so I mean, a lot of people don't like window treatments, especially around here. We want as much glass as we can get, so a lot of our window treatments will roll up into their headrail, or we'll do drapery that kind of frame your view, and they kind of integrate the outdoors, and a lot of places that have tall ceilings need some sound absorption, so that way it's not so echoey and it makes it a little bit more intimate.
Okay.
But yes, we do shades and blinds or draperies. Things like that.
So there's something that I saw. There's soft window treatments and hard window treatments. So can you talk a little bit about that?
Yep. So soft window treatments are going to be your drapes, or a top treatment is like a cornice or a valance that kind of hides if this is your shade underneath. And then this is considered a hard window treatment, where it's like a shade or blind.
Okay.
That goes on the glass.
That makes sense. Okay. And while you have that, motorization is it's been popular, but it's getting even more popular, and that is what this is here.
Yeah, so this one is a cordless lift with your hand.
Okay.
These are some of our motorized remotes. Pebbles from Hunter Douglas. You can have up to 6 channels. You can use your tablet or iPad or iPhone or smartphone to control your shades. You can build them into your hardwire into your house, but they're really nice for like pet and child safety, and then also just convenience as well.
Yeah, okay, and we have a video looking at that right now.
Yeah, so this was a master bedroom, and they had 3 in a row, and who really wants to spend the time to adjust all 3 shades, you know what I mean? So if you could push one button and and that's even a room darkening material. We did the chandelier in that room as well.
I love that.
Overlooking the Mississippi, so.
That is wonderful, and you know what, like part of me just goes, yeah, because once you're already like laying in bed, or if it's like early in the morning, if we don't have to get out and do that ourselves manually and just press a button, how great would that be?
Yeah.
And you guys you customize pretty much everything when it comes to window treatments for your clients.
Definitely. So every window treatment is custom. It's custom to the house. It's custom to the client. We've never done the exact same thing twice.
Wow.
And then we can motorize draperies or the hard window treatments as well.
Okay, wonderful. That's great. So any other trends that that you're starting to see when it comes to window treatments, or really any other design?
Yeah, so it's definitely a lot about bringing the outdoors in. Is so good for our mental health. So a lot of open glass, but when you need to be able to, like some people at home might be having some sun glare on the TV right now, and like they need to call us, and we'll come and measure and give them a quote for some shades that'll take the glare off of the TV.
Take the glare off, but still kind of support that desire that they have to have the glass or have the outdoors, that feel of the outdoors, indoors.
Yes.
Well, that's very cool.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you so much. Now, Within by CDI, it is located, as we mentioned, in downtown Bettendorf. It's right there on State Street. You can give them a call at the number on your screen, 563-359-1655, or you can visit them on the web at withinbycdi.com. Ashley, thank you so much for bringing all this stuff to the studio today. I feel like a lot of people are really inspired to do a little decorating, so we appreciate it.
All right, thank you.
Yes, thank you. Coming up, smart homes. They, of course, are making life easier, but are they also making you a target? We're talking with Rouse Consulting Group about the hidden risks behind your connected devices and what you can do to protect yourself.
Quad Cities Live continues.
From video doorbells and voice assistants to smart thermostats and even baby monitors, today's homes are more connected than ever. While these technologies bring incredible convenience, they can also become gateways to a variety of hidden risks. Eric Van Spybrook is with Rouse Consulting Group and is back with us here on QCL today. Eric, thanks for being here.
Of course, glad to be back.
Yes, this is a really great topic. You guys always have great topics for us because it kind of feels like, you know, information that you can really use. So let's start with the rise of smart homes and ultimately what that really means for us and what we're seeing in that day to day.
Right, so of course technology is always evolving, always changing, and smart home technology, while not new, it's now being much more widely adopted.
Yeah.
And every new home is going to be smart home capable.
Okay.
Right, so these technologies in our space is called IoT devices, or the Internet of Things.
Oh, okay. I was wondering what
Right,
that meant.
so all those peripherals you have out there, like you said, doorbells to controlling your lighting, thermostats, even refrigerators these days are connected to the internet.
Gosh, they are, yeah.
They are. And while it creates, like you said, amazing convenience, awesome capabilities, the security part of it isn't always the best.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, I sat with myself for a minute when I knew you were coming today, and I was like, you know, I wonder, I don't consider myself somebody who has a smart home by any means. I live in a home that's more than 120 years old. But then I really thought about it, and I'm like, well, wait a second. I have a security camera at the back of my house. I have one of those Ring doorbells. I have that Alexa whatever that thing is in my house, where my daughter says, you know, Alexa, play Taylor Swift on all day long. And then I'm like, you know what, I really kind of do. I have all those technologies in my home. So while you may not have, like, you know, a brand new home that is built for it technically, or maybe all of those fancy appliances, chances are you do have something in your home that could leave you at risk. So that brings us to your next point, which are the different security risks. So I guess let's start with consumers.
Yeah, with consumers, when a product gets made, they want it to include 3 things, right? They want it to be very cool.
Yeah.
They want it to be new.
Yes.
And most importantly, they want to be first to the market.
Okay.
Right? So with that, security always takes a back seat.
Yeah.
So what we find is oftentimes these devices come with very limited log-on capabilities. So you're logging on to a very easy device to log into.
Yeah.
They're not being patched very securely. And in general, the security policies that are created around to protect that device are pretty limited in general.
Okay, so that's something to keep in mind when you're like, this is so easy. easy, you know, anybody in my family can set it up, or Mom, you can do this because, you know, it doesn't take much. Well, that could mean that there's maybe some security risks for that. That also brings up some risks for businesses, which I found that correlation very interesting, and it's really not something I've personally thought about since COVID, since so many of us really were working from home and having these elaborate setups. So describe for people the security risks that it poses for work.
Right, exactly. So COVID was obviously a flashpoint for a lot of organizations that were forced to send their employees home to work from home. A lot of those organizations weren't prepared, both from a technology standpoint as well as a security standpoint. So we had to relatively quickly get those companies up to speed. And a lot of that is building around proper policies around how those employees work day to day, how they're accessing their company data, and then what they're doing at home to protect their organizations from other risks that are associated working at home.
Okay, and so these become shared risks, and the only example that I can think of is, you know, okay, yeah, I worked at home every single day during COVID. Well, now we have the opportunity occasionally to do a little work from home because of some of these things that were set up at that time. But then you're communicating with, you know, your computers here at work, and so any risks that you have on your own at home, then you're bringing those into the workplace.
Right, exactly. So if your Ring doorbell were to be compromised, then it could potentially spider out into your business data and infect or compromise your business data as well.
Yes, something to think about for sure. Okay, so you have some tips as usual, some best practices for everyone. Yeah, let's get started down the list. I know everybody probably thinks, yes, change your password, or at least make it a good password.
So I think the first thing, before we take any of these products out of the box, you want to look at your home network, right? So your Wi-Fi and how that's set up. So at your business, you most likely have a private Wi-Fi and a public Wi-Fi. We want to adopt similar principles at home, right? So we want a Wi-Fi channel dedicated to all your IoT devices. So you put all those risky devices in one room. We want a separate Wi-Fi channel for maybe your personal devices, so your home laptop or your kid's tablet, so things that have maybe data that you want to be more protected. And then if you are allowed to work from home, you also want to have a separate Wi-Fi channel just for your work access as well.
I see.
So that's first before we even look at any technologies. Then we take it out of the box, and we want to make sure that we reset any default passwords and logins, right? So the first thing you do is going to be admin and password, login and password. You want to change that to something obviously much more secure. And then where at all possible, apply two-factor or multi-factor authentication.
Which we're seeing more and more, at least with our social media.
Exactly.
They're all asking you to do that. Definitely keep your devices, your software up to date. So don't keep ignoring when it...
Update your software.
Update your software, absolutely. And this one I think is really interesting. Make sure that everybody in the house is educated on device use.
Exactly. So when they pull that device out of the box, you want to read the policies, read the configurations, and ensure that anywhere possible that you can reduce the amount of information spread or sensitivity that you're turning those features on.
Yeah, okay, wonderful. And before we let you go, let's talk a little bit about what business leaders should also be prioritizing, and I guess some of the conversations that they should be having with employees or among themselves.
Yep, exactly. So again, during COVID, after we got everybody set up, then we sat back down with those employers and said, hey, we need to develop work from home policies, right? And now everybody's working secure. Let's make sure that everybody is understanding of how they should operate, how they should work from home, and build policies into your HR or onboarding staff so that is built as a company, so that everybody has consistency in how they're operating in a very safe environment.
Absolutely. So that's just kind of the way that it is, like from here on out. Very interesting. Well, if you want to learn a little bit more about Rouse Consulting Group and how a partnership can benefit your business, you just have to visit them on the web at go2rcg.com. That is the number 2, as you can see right there. And you can also give them a call at the number on your screen, right there at the bottom, 309-762. And I lost the last 4 digits. 3589. 3589. There it is. For anybody that wants to give you a call. Eric, thank you so much for joining us today. Always just great information.
Thank you, Morgan.
Yes, we appreciate it. Still to come in our second half hour, ServPro is here with details on home improvement after disasters like fires and floods. And later, Lovewell Fence joins us with solutions for homeowners who want a little break from the sun.
And we've got some changing weather ahead. We'll detail it in your First Alert forecast coming up next.
At accurate and reliable. This is your First Alert Forecast with meteorologist Kyle Dickens.
A beautiful afternoon out there. We've made it to 70. We promised you we'd probably do it, and we did, with lots of sunshine. And the cloud cover has been a little delayed coming in, so that has helped. It feels like 70 northwest wind at 13. We are watching a little activity, though, off to our northwest. Not too concerned about this, but I do think areas south of I-80 tonight, we're talking late evening into the overnight hours, might see some shower activity, but we will start to see some cloud cover build in here from that system, so we'll be watching that here. But we made it up to 70, could hit 71 as we head into the rest of the afternoon. Here comes those showers. Exact Track is picking up on that activity, moving through, but it is going to be light. I think, again, areas south of I-80, we're talking a quick passing shower. Nothing to be too concerned with if you got evening plans tonight. Should be in good shape. Should be in good shape tomorrow. I think the cloud cover's a little overplayed. We will see some cloudy skies, but we should see some sunshine too, allowing us to get into the low 70s once again. So absolutely stunning day weather-wise here. Great way to spend the Memorial Day weekend. Then we look towards Sunday and a little change in our pattern with a little bit of shower activity, mainly to the south again here, south of I-80. I think this is a little overdone. I think we will see some showers, but new model data coming in, going a little bit weaker on that activity. We could, with enough sunshine here, hit 60s, upper 60s or low 70s for Sunday. And then we get to Memorial Day. We had a rain chance in, but looking at some new model data, it is really starting to kind of back off on those chances. So we're going to go close to 70 degrees, mostly cloudy skies, but we still should see some sunshine. Looks like we'll remain dry. Tuesday going to be the day, though. You can see that really starting to fill in there where we could see some scattered showers and storms. So if you got any plans tonight, maybe heading out to Mercado on 5th. Temperature's not too bad. Take a light jacket if you're going to stick around, though, because we will see the temperature start to drop here into the 50s as we get into the overnight hours. 7-day forecast. It's a beautiful 7-day overall for the weekend. We do have that quick shower chance here Sunday, but again, that's going to be mainly to the south, and those will be quick moving showers. We get to Monday and Tuesday, temperatures into the 60s with more shower chances Tuesday. We dry out, though, for Wednesday, Thursday with temperatures in the mid 70s.
It is Home Improvement Week here on QCL, and sometimes those improvements come out of necessity after unexpected disasters. Well, for more than 50 years, ServPro has been a trusted name in restoration and cleanup, from water and fire damage to mold remediation and much more. Joining me today from ServPro is Ken Rowetter. Ken, thanks for being here.
Well, thanks for having us.
Yes, I'm excited to talk with you today. I've actually used your services in the past myself. Nobody really wants to be in that position, but how fortunate are we to have folks that will come out and help us?
Absolutely.
Yes. Okay, so let's talk about ServPro. Give us a little background, a little history on the company.
Well, ServPro itself started in 1967 and started franchising out, and as of right now, there's 2,200 across the United States. So there's lots of different places. Our facility is 4 different locations. We do Davenport, Rock Island, Burlington, and down at Kewaunee.
Wow, okay, so you guys are nicely spread out for folks. So let's talk about your services. I just touched on them briefly as we, entered the segment here today, but there are quite a few services you guys can help out with all kinds of situations.
Absolutely. Now, we cover the whole entire viewing area of Channel 6. That is our territory.
Wonderful.
And in that territory, we do all types of things. The water, fire. Water is, of course, the big thing right now. Fire, smoke removal, mold remediation, construction, reconstruction, catastrophic, that's the floods and all those type things. Cleaning, which can be your biodegradable things, but also just vandalism.
Oh, wow.
Any type of thing like that, air duct cleaning. We do any type of cleaning there is, we take care of it for folks.
Oh, wonderful. Okay, so this time of year for you guys, the spring, the summer months, you mentioned water is a big one. So are you getting, what are you most popular for? Calls for flooding or calls for mold and things like that?
It really is all seasonal. Right now, I would say the biggest calls we have is the water. And we're not overwhelmed at this point because we make sure that we have plenty of equipment and technicians ready to go as soon as they need to.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are very easy to contact. Someone's typically available all day long.
Yes, we're the only true 24/7 company that does remediation in the Quad Cities and all over the regional area that you guys cover.
That's wonderful. Yeah, that's peace of mind, I think, for a lot of folks.
Absolutely.
So let's talk a little bit about your equipment that you guys use, and because it's really, you know, above the rest. We've got a photo here of some of the stuff that you guys use. I mean, I've had some ServPro equipment in my basement before. So tell us a little bit about it.
Well, in that picture you have air movers, you have dehumidifiers, you have air scrubbers, air cleaners.
Yeah.
You have all the product solutions that we use. You actually have, if there's no power, we have our own generators. We have our own heaters in the wintertime for folks. And then any type of cleaning materials that you need or solutions for that.
And along with
situation.
that, you've got your staff, which are amazing people that see you know, homeowners, renters, whomever, sometimes in their worst moments. So yes, talk about just your experienced staff and your technicians.
Well, first of all, our technicians are trained. They all, not all at this point, but as they come in and after they're there a few weeks, we try to get them all certified and trained through the IICRC. So they're all professionally trained to do the job, know exactly what's going on, whether there's technicians, managers, or just assist staff. They're all trained. And yes, we come to people's houses on the worst day and we make it better.
Yeah, you absolutely do. And I want to talk a little bit about mold, because I saw a really interesting fact that you guys provided. We all think we can handle everything with a little bleach, right?
Yes, we think that.
We think that, don't we? But it's not necessarily the case, which is why if you are seeing something like that in your home, why it's really imperative to call a professional, because bleach can't get it all.
Absolutely not. And the reasoning behind that, and I want to make sure everybody's clear that bleach is 90% water. Well, what inhibits mold and the growth of antimicrobials? It is moisture,
yeah.
Whether it's humidity or whether it's just the moisture that's there that isn't dried up. You will actually spread certain types of molds when you go in and treat it with that.
With that, okay.
There's a few types of those that you can kill, but the majority of them it will actually create and make it worse than what it is.
Okay, there it is. Yikes. Okay, we have some photos on the screen.
Yeah, the first picture that went across there, that's kind of like what happened to my house.
Oh, no.
Their inside wall, we had moisture coming down the inside of the basement wall behind the wall that was there, and it ate right through it. You can start seeing little specks of black coming through that you see there.
It's the worst feeling, yeah.
And that is a form of mold. The ceilings, that can be any age of house. I know you talked about having older homes, but we've had mold growing in newer homes that were only 6 months old because the flashing wasn't secure, or there was a leak through a peak of some kind, and you're seeing the mold start to grow.
Okay.
And that's what we're looking at, and then a lot of before and afters.
A lot of before and afters. You quoted like it never even happened. And we're just seeing that's duct cleaning. I'm pretty sure that we're seeing on the screen right now.
Absolutely, duct cleaning. Clean those out. The carpet there, we do that also. This is where a ceiling fell through and you had debris and water all over that floor. We were able to take it all out and dry that floor in place without destroying it and taking it out.
Oh my gosh, amazing. Yes, you certainly do help people at some of their worst moments. And for anybody that wants to learn more about the variety of services that ServPro has available, because there are many, just visit servpro.com. And if you would like to set up an appointment, you can give them a call. We have the local phone numbers on your screen right now for all the areas that Ken already mentioned. And Ken, we want to thank you so much for joining us today and telling us all about ServPro.
Absolutely, we enjoyed it.
Yes, absolutely. Well, coming up in our home improvement series, 5 things you should know before adding a shade structure to your property. Lovewell Fence and Deck joins us next.
Well, when it comes to creating the perfect outdoor space, a little shade can go a long way. Whether you're dreaming of a cozy corner to sip your morning cup of coffee or a cool spot to host summer get-togethers, shaded structures like pergolas are not only just functional, but they're also total game changers for style as well as comfort. Here with a look at some of these stunning outdoor transformations is Josh Kotecki from Lovewell Fence and Deck. Josh, welcome back.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah, we've had a lot of great topics here over the last few weeks, so now we want to talk about pergolas. This is something that my wife and I have been talking about, maybe not now, but definitely in the future. So let's talk more about the need for a shaded structure and the benefits that they can bring to our home.
Yeah, absolutely. The first place to start is typically heat.
Yeah.
Someone has a patio, an existing patio or an existing deck, and they just say, we would love to spend more time outdoors, and we just cannot do it. We cannot bear the direct sunlight,
Sure.
and we need a break from that sun. So that's where our pergola system comes into play, because we can break the heat, we can add an aesthetic point of view, and really transform that outdoor space.
All right, so you kind of pointed to the prop here. So talk about the structure of your pergolas and how you use these types of materials to create this safe environment for people.
The key here is, one, low maintenance materials. We'll never steer away from that. That's number one on the list. We want to make sure that we're incorporating that into every space. But the second component is how our structure is, it's like a big erector set, if you will. It's how it's built. And what we do is we use an extrusion, aluminum extrusion within the vinyl material. So once this gets assembled, that aluminum is the structure. It is the base. And the vinyl is simply the outdoor, the aesthetic, and the finished component.
And there you go. You're testing the strength of the car right there.
There you go.
That's incredible.
So that's been called for years and years. We sell these nationwide. So a lot of times people don't know where Davenport, Iowa is. They don't necessarily, it's not as dramatic of effect of, hey, this has been assembled in Davenport. It's custom built to your liking. So coming up with, you know, an imagery of, hey, a car can withstand, or a pergola can withstand this car. It's a great effect.
Yeah, and like we've talked about in the previous weeks with decks and fences, obviously we want something that can withstand the wild weather that we get as well. So these are built to withstand, you know, damaging wind, hail, etc.
Absolutely. We have full engineering on the entire system. We sell them nationwide. So whether they're in Minnesota and dealing with snow loads, or down in Dade County dealing with all sorts of weather, hurricanes, etc. These are built to last. Of course, here in the Quad Cities, that's always a hot topic with a lot of our clients.
Yeah, most definitely. So I guess it would kind of depend on the design of the pergola that you have for your home or your yard, but can they protect you from the rain?
So the answer up to this year was no. Not our particular system. So we've done a lot of R&D on this. We've done a lot of back-end work. Now we're able to basically incorporate a new system. So the system that you're seeing here on the screen is polycarbonate panels.
Polycarbonate panels,
that get introduced within our pergola systems, which creates a rainproof environment. So these are new in 2025. We're really excited about them. They're a product called Elements. And we're hoping in another 10 years we'll have all these scattered throughout the entire Quad Cities, in addition to our pergola structure, which is an open air shade system.
So have you installed any of these new systems?
We certainly have.
Have you? Okay, what's the response been like so far? I know we haven't had a lot of rain here this season, but...
That's right. I would say clients are most taken back by, holy cow, it still allows some ambient light through the paneling, but at the same rate that you're a fraction of the cost of like a traditional roof. All right, so you're not going to the full extent of full-on construction, tying into roofs, etc. We have a system that's really tried and true. We're incorporating a rainproof element within that same shade structure system.
And some of the photos that we're seeing on the screen are some of the projects that you've worked on, and these pergolas can be small or large. I guess, is it just kind of up to the customer on what they want for their space?
Absolutely, and you know, I would be remiss if I didn't say probably the number one attribute of the system itself is the ability to customize it to any space. You know, if you go to a big box store, certainly they have good options. You can get pergolas that may be a 12 by 12, but not a 12 by 16. So it may not fit your space exactly, where our systems are going to be fully customizable and allow you to incorporate really into any different setting.
And you know, we were kind of talking before the show. You're like, you know, I wish it was 95 and sunny out right now, but you don't want to wait until it's 95 and sunny, because you want to have this option of shade in place before that happens. So is springtime usually a busy time to get pergolas installed, or is that normally summer?
It is. There's a lot of people thinking ahead and planning, right? They may have a big vacation. They don't necessarily want to be under construction or purchasing a pergola at that time. They want to, like you said, enjoy it when that time comes, and then they have the full year.
All right, so now's the time to start thinking of that pergola or a new deck or a fence, as we've talked about the last few weeks. Lovewell Fence and Deck has a location in Davenport. You can call them at the number on your screen or visit them on the web at lovewellfence.com. Josh, thank you so much for joining us these last few weeks to get us ready for a nice spring and summer and enjoy pergolas, our new fence, and our new deck.
Absolutely.
Right,
Thank
appreciate
you.
it. Thank you so much.
All right, Kyle and Josh, thank you. And just ahead, our wins of the week, including a one-of-a-kind community celebration. That's up next on QCL. All right, it is time now for our wins of the week. It is Friday after all.
Yes.
So let's start with you. What's your win of the week?
Well,
I have no idea what it is. So.
I'm going to surprise you.
Yeah.
You know, with our jobs, we get to, one of the nice things we get to do is go out and spend some time in the community. And I got the luxury of going and hanging with some kids. And we talked a lot about weather. Very interested group of children here.
Aww.
And third to fourth graders. And what a fun time. They were a great group.
Look
They
at the
asked
setup.
a lot of questions. We went over a lot about weather and a lot about forecasting, all types of weather from winter to severe weather. And it's always a fun time. You know, we love doing this and love doing these things for the community. So if you're, if you have a group or organization that you'd like us to stop out, don't hesitate to reach out to us. We will definitely make it a point to get out there and meet and greet.
That's awesome. Look at that. They have a nice setup there.
I know. That is.
You could like do the weather in that school.
I wish we had something like that here.
Yeah, right? They have just as many TVs in whatever room this is that we do in the studio. That's a good age too.
Yeah.
Third and fourth grade, because I know it's something that Kevin Phelps also does, and then one of his children is in that grade. And it's like they're interested,
So
and they're like
engaged.
little sponges, and they're engaged, and they're not too cool yet. They're not too
Exactly.
cool
Yeah,
to listen to the adults.
That's exactly, and the questions, you know, a lot of times you get some weird questions with kids, but this group was amazing. Their questions were on point, great questions.
Yeah.
It was a fun time.
That's awesome. Well, I'm sure they loved having you.
Yeah, it was a good time.
My win is from this past weekend. We actually have talked a little bit about it on the show already, but the Figge Art Museum.
Oh, yeah. That's...
So this is a video I took. So I went down to the whole community celebration when they lit up the Figge. And I was really excited about this. So that's the moment that it happened, but we didn't hear. So there's a little bit of a countdown that everybody did. They had some speakers. There's Darby, who was incredibly excited for this event. And, you know, like I said, you never know with kids. Like, I have no idea. She was so excited about it. It was really fun. And the artist who put this all together, Leo Villarreal, he was there. He spoke with the crowd. I got to speak with him in person. This has been like more than a decade in the making.
Oh, I know. And it just has changed the whole skyline. I mean, it really has made a huge difference when you go downtown. And not even when you're downtown, but you could be crossing.
You could be at Schwiebert Park, and they had some of the best views of this happening.
Yeah, but I was going over the 74 bridge and you could see it glowing from there. It was wild.
It is very cool. We are very lucky. All right, and we are so lucky to have you. Thank you so much for watching QCL. Your News at 4 with Sharon is up next.